What is up, DC fans? Welcome back to DC Junction. I'm Mike.
And this is Matthew.
I got my Batman fidget spinner back, and it's now I'm going to be playing with this throughout the whole thing. We'll stop fidgeting with other stuff. I've been looking for this forever. I did not want to have to buy a new one. We have got so much stuff to get to today, guys. Please make sure you're subscribed if you aren't already. Follow us on all the social medias. We've got, I mean, by the time this is coming up, I don't know if this is necessarily breaking news, but we're getting into a DC news roundup today. First and foremost, Adria Arjona has been cast in an unknown role in Man of Tomorrow, which has been confirmed by Man of Tomorrow co-star Isabella Merced on Instagram. So
Yes.
no, she is officially in the cast. We know that's for sure. Now, for those who have maybe not be caught up, her name has been thrown around a lot for DC, but most recently there was a report from, I think it was Variety or Deadline, one of the one-name ones, that said she and two others had been screen testing for Maxima for Man of Tomorrow, which James Gunn debunked harshly. Almost to the point where he's kind of like, oh my God, am I still doing this? But Adria Arjona has been thrown around a lot for Maxima. She's also been thrown around a lot for Wonder Woman. Two names, and so she has been debunked completely for Maxima. I don't necessarily think she's playing Wonder Woman. I think she'd be a good pick for Wonder Woman. You haven't seen most of Andor, but you know, she showed in Andor that she can pull off action quite well, and she can pull off, you know, I mean, she really was a standout from that show, and I quite liked her in the Father of the Bride remake. I think he's actually not bad.
It's entertaining, which is what you want out of a movie.
It's the third remake of an old out of date rom-com premise. Roll with it. It's fine.
Yeah.
She was good in it. So I quite like Adria Arjona, just from the things I've seen her in. Matt, how familiar with, again, I know you didn't watch a lot of Andor, so how familiar with her are you?
Not at all.
Not at all.
I'm not. Yeah. I don't think I've seen any. I was looking her up. I meant to watch that Hitman movie with Glenn Powell.
I did too, and I never got around to it. Yeah.
So this will maybe make me consider it more.
Right. She's very, very talented. I know she's in Morbius. The less said about that, the better. None that movie is not to blame on any of the actors. Maybe Jared Leto, but it's but yeah. So this happened like literally like yesterday, last night, as I was getting ready to go to bed. So
yeah, I mean, look, I think if she was Wonder Woman, we would know. I don't think you hide you've cast your Wonder Woman. The fact that they've been clamoring for it so bad, it's one of the top three. And I say that more of like, if they were confirming she's cast, it would be as Wonder Woman. That's my opinion.
Well, yes and no. I'm going to disagree as I eat on camera, uncomfortable, very rudely, because I did not eat breakfast this morning, and it's 9:40. You got to remember, isn't the writer of Supergirl also writing the Wonder Woman movie?
I mean, she is, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of feel like that's me. I know I'm taking advantage of you chewing.
You are. You absolutely are. I just realized how dry these Belvitas are, and I need some water.
But no, I think like for Batman, once they announce who Batman is, they'll tell us he's Batman. Once they knew who Superman was, they told us he was Superman. We didn't find out David Cornsweet is cast in the Superman movie, and then 3 months later go like, oh, by the way, he's Superman, or with Lex Luthor, or with a lot of those. So that's where I'm kind of feeling like if she was a Wonder Woman, we would know the moment they announced her.
I'm gonna push back a little, only because it's different with Superman, because that was the launching point. It was like there's no one else these people could be. It's like there's very few options in here who these people are going to be playing. Now that after Superman, now that we've seen after Superman just how vast the DCU is, like lore wise, they now have in like it, to their benefit, they can play a she could literally be anybody. You'll know when we tell you kind of thing. It has me thinking, I don't know, when you've got Supergirl getting ready to come out with the writer of that movie also writing Wonder Woman, and Man of Tomorrow is currently in production. It's a lot of things circling, and I realize I'm Charlie Day with the yarn. Trying to figure out who Carol is, realizing there's no Carol. I understand I'm doing a little bit of that right now. But that's why we do this fucking podcast. I mean, that's also why we're here. Like, that's why I'm here to do this. So I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of connective threads here with it that points to. I'm not absolutely saying she is Wonder Woman, but like, you want someone who is like David Corenswet was on the rise.
Yes.
But not like so big. Cause part of the, not to deviate too much, but like, you know, when you look back at like BVS, Ben Affleck was expensive. Ben Affleck was expensive to have as a recurring character like Batman. That's going to drive your budget way up. You know, Adria Arjona is probably a little bit more affordable, and she has got so much room for her career to grow right now. You can get her in there and start making stuff and let her have time to really grow into this character. You know what I mean?
Well, and you know, not to do the comparative thing, but to do the comparative thing was like, look at the MCU. They made their bread and butter on pulling in those, not say low level celebrities, but you know what I mean? Like, it's rising stars. You know, look, like, you know, everybody knew who Chris Evans was, but he wasn't like a hot commodity. Robert Downey Jr. was way on the down.
Relief in The Losers.
Yeah. You know, so I think that's where something like her, you know, like you're saying, like you're getting her on the rise. She may get more expensive 2 or 3 films down the line, but for now, but no, I'm not on a hard stance of I'm 100% believing what I said, but I'm kind of like, yeah, if she was Wonder Woman, I think they'd say. On top of that, Man of Tomorrow, from the very little itty bitty we barely know, we're assuming it's going to be multidimensional because of the whole thing that was done in Peacemaker.
True.
So you have the gauntlet of, you know, even though he's debunked Maxima, I don't ever believe anything when they debunk something like that.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes me believe him is that he has red hair.
Debunked Maxima. He's debunked that those 3 actresses were screen testing for Maxima.
Okay.
He has never said Maxima's not in the movie.
Okay.
So
but I mean, look, you got
Brainiac's in the movie. You know, Brainiac's the big bad. So
yeah. So you've got, I mean, we could both name a dozen characters. You know,
could be Satana.
To be Satana, she could be Big Barda. She could be the female Green Lantern.
Jessica Cruz.
Yeah, I think it's Jessica Cruz. I mean, you got, you know, dozens of other, you know, Black Canary. You know, you just don't. I mean, I don't know why Black Canary would be in this movie, but it could be. You know, you've got.
She could be a Huntress for all we know. If you want to get like
Huntress,
little like Gotham adjacent connection here, you know.
So this is where you just and we're assuming she's a hero. She could be a villain. She could be what is the?
I mean, she could be Cersei. Or no, she's not Cersei because Cersei was in. They killed Cersei in Future Commandos.
What is the girl who hangs out with Zod?
Oh, Feora L, not L. Feora, whatever. Yeah,
could be her. You never know. So that's where you just
Well, if we're getting Brainiac, it could be just you know,
She
again,
could be the anti-monitor. No, I'm just kidding.
little soon for that.
You never know. Lay the groundwork.
Well, look, I mentioned Huntress. I mentioned a little like Gotham. So we got some Clayface. Now, I will say right now, spoilers ahead. If you're trying to avoid literally anything spoiler related until like a trailer comes out for Clayface, maybe mute for a little bit. We'll wave at the screen when it's okay to come back. So I guess there was some footage shown from Clayface, kind of a sizzle reel trailer-esque, unpolished trailer shown at, I think it was CinemaCon
Okay.
last night. Was it CinemaCon? No, I want to make sure I got this right. Oh god, that's not even it. God, I pulled up the wrong damn article. Son of a biscuit. But basically it described the footage with like, you know, him waking up in a hospital bed and like feeling stuff on his face and like going to like wipe it away, and then there's just no face anymore. There's like things of like him trying to talk and like his mouth like melting together. Like literally they said it was described as like the feet of clay episodes of Batman the Animated Series just cranked up to 11. I'm trying to talk a little bit about like how, because I know when it comes to comic book stuff and being a bit more adult, that's always a little bit of a minefield for you, kind of. But like with Clayface and with the Feats of Clay episodes, especially with, you were much older, not much older, but you were older when you took those in initially, you old geezer. While I pull up the article, how does that, where have you heard about this, and how does that kind of make you feel?
Look, if you're going to give Clayface his own movie, do something with it. You know what I mean? Don't just do a backdoor pilot to bring Batman in. So if you're doing something completely different, then I think that sounds really cool. You know what I mean? Like, you're giving this villain of Batman his own film. They James Gunn greenlit this movie. So there had to be some original takes, some really cool stuff going on. So this just kind of leans into like, okay, because like when that was first announced, I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm interested. I don't care about villain movies, you know. But I mean, that sounds intriguing. That could be fun to watch. You know, I'm not afraid of an R-rated comic movie as long as there's a reason for it to be R-rated. If you're just wanting the ability to drop F-bombs, Logan, then I don't appreciate it.
You watch your mouth, sir. You watch your mouth, sir.
Just
light them up in the comments, folks.
But if you're giving me a dark, more intense, because of the nature of his powers, I'm all on board for rated R.
I think that's ultimately like just the body horror elements of it alone are what. I mean, Clayface's backstory's messed up. I mean, it's like there's like when they, even back in the Feats of Clay episode, it all happens off screen. You know what I mean? Like it's messed up. So you know, so here's the way it was described. So in this trailer, we see a highly disfigured character with red eyes laying in a hospital bed. This is clearly a version of our lead character, played by Welsh actor Tom Rhys-Harries, who I know him just from an episode of Doctor Who, and that's it. So I don't know. Who, you know, whom we cut to in various stages of mutilation, pre and post some kind of traumatic event. Elsewhere, we see the character wearing a mask, seemingly molting, and with a face he can distort like putty. That makes me think of the Caped Crusader episode with Clayface, you know, where he was just doing that. And yeah, we see the character laying in a hospital bed trying to speak and his lips melting together. He then tries to grasp at the bandages on his face, and when he wipes his hand away, his face completely disappears.
Yeah. No,
something
that
about
sounds
describing like seeing a hand turning into like a giant hammer, and I'm like, yay, we're doing it.
There we go.
We're doing it. I took my I took the fam to there's this like collectibles store in Cincinnati called the Toy Department, and it was $100, so I didn't buy it, but it was like one of those super cool Batman the Animated Series figures. It was Clayface. It had all the interchangeable parts to make him, and I was like, I want it, but not for $100.
Yeah. That would be really cool for $50.
That would be really cool. For $50, we're having a conversation. Because they also had like the bat cycle from that you could put your figure on and it lit up. And they also had, these were like $200-$300, but like the bat plane and like the bat cave, like, and I'm just sitting here just kind of like, oh, how can I justify it?
Yeah. Yeah. It would make my office really cool. You don't have an office. When I get one.
I know. Yeah, I'm in the middle of collectibles are starting to disappear. I'm in the middle of moving my stuff. I'm moving in with my girlfriend, so I'm moving stuff over to her place. So like, I'm starting to have to make the decisions of like, okay, what's going on display and what's not, and it's just like, okay, cool. So when can I start rearranging the basement or the basement, the garage rather? Yeah. All right. So you hear this stuff, and how to keeping that in mind, and what we were talking about with, if it's going to be, an adult, if it's a comic book project, how does this kind of sit with you again with Clayface and that sort of thing?
It's like I said, it's, I mean, if you're making it R for a reason, that's not just language or gore, I'm down for it. It's when you're just doing it to add that stuff when it's not needed, and there's been other films that I won't mention because I don't want to get into it, where I feel like there was nothing different besides the language and the gore,
right,
to every appearance he had up to that point. So that's where, like, okay, sure, this is just what you guys want to do because you wanted to do your crescendo. With this, like, yeah, like, don't give me, if you're going to make Clayface its own movie, don't pull back.
Well, I think
give me everything.
Yeah, and what's good to remember too is that this is going to be kind of, I think, our first origin story, because remember, Clayface already exists in the DCU. We saw him in Creature Commandos.
Yes.
He fucked up Rick Flag. Like, they established right away in Creature Commandos that Alan Tudyk himself even said, which I love, that Alan Tudyk has now voice acted Clayface in 2 different animated projects, and they're completely different versions of themselves. But he himself said that this version of Clayface is a homicidal maniac, which, Clayface is he's very, 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 very scary. He's one of the scariest Batman villains. So if you're gonna, this is a horror movie. It's a villain origin. There's no part of it. It's like, this is one of those. It's like, this one kind of needs to lean that way. But to your point, I do hope that it's not just. And we'll know more when we see the trailer. Obviously, this is just this is a generic description of footage of rough cut footage from CinemaCon, but also the rumors have been that the trailer is going to be released soon. That since they were showing it at CinemaCon, that it's going to be getting released soon, theoretically within the next week, which I think is early. Honestly, I think that's a little early considering how long we waited for Supergirl footage. Considering Supergirl is only a month and a half away.
Yeah.
I understand Lanterns. Lanterns is an HBO Max series, but if I don't know how much I buy into them dropping a Clayface trailer this early. I don't know. What do you think?
It just depends on how many trailers you're going to do, what the teaser's like. I mean, look, Star Wars would put those trailers out a year in advance just to get people knowing it's coming.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
They do not have the return on investment they used to.
Yeah. But no, I think, I mean, what are we in? It's April already? Good.
Yeah, it's mid-April. We're at
6 months. Yeah. 6 months out is about standard.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know.
You got to build the hype. You just don't want to build the hype of this before you build the hype of Supergirl that's coming out first.
Yeah, that's okay. It's like, if you're going to drop it, but then nothing else until after Supergirl, because you're gonna.
Yeah. Or attach the next trailer to Supergirl.
That's too soon. That's way too soon. Because you still got Lanterns coming out before then too. Plus, you shut up. Plus, also you got to remember we have Spider-Man is coming out here in May. Like we're getting into the summer. There's going to be so much stuff. Comic-Con's getting ready to happen. I mean, there's going to be a lot more like bigger opportunities. I feel like to drop a trailer and ride some hype rather than risking oversaturating your own market. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know.
Makes sense.
We'll see. Apparently Patton Oswalt's been texting James Gunn begging to play Mr.
Mxyzptlk.
Yes. And if sure, why not? Why, if anyone could, especially in live action. I know Howie Mandel did it at one point, but
I think it's
actually a good episode. Go check it out.
Yeah. I would think I don't know. I'd pick him more for Batmite than I would.
Yeah, I mean, any of the imps, any of the little interdimensional imps, or if you wanted to make Fanboy canon, remember Fanboy?
I think so.
This is not an edible. It's my probiotic gummy. So
you did the edible before the show.
Yeah, well, I didn't take my meds. We're recording early in the morning. My schedule was thrown off. But look, put Patton Oswalt in anything, and I'm happy. I don't care. You know, it's a bummer to me that the MCU wasted him as a clone bit on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, I thought he was. Wasn't he in the Eternals end credit scene?
Was he?
I mean,
dude, I watched that.
It doesn't matter. That movie was
at home. It
that
doesn't
movie was
matter.
crap anyway.
Was he really? Who the end credit scene? The one with Harry Styles or whoever it was?
Yeah.
There was.
Yeah, that's I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at it now because I think he was. Hold on. Why is that so loud?
I have no idea. I don't remember that at all. I was half asleep by the end of that movie. If I watched the post-credit scene, I don't remember. I remember seeing
that movie was so
that movie was so bad. It was so bad. So boring. Anyway, none of this matters. No, yeah, put him in the DCU, James Gunn. Make him Mixel, whatever. Make him Mr. McDonald's. Make it. I don't know if we're ever gonna get. I mean, we know Batmite is canon to the DCU, but I don't know. Beyond that, we had planned on just having a random ass discussion today, but then all this stuff popped up. There were some random casting rumors about characters for Creature Commandos season 2, which I mean we know has been in production. James Gunn has confirmed that for a while, but the animation side of this is kind of what we wanted to talk about a little bit. The animation side of DC seems to have like screeched to a halt in a weird way. And I know that like animation studios and stuff in Hollywood right now are kind of in a weird upheaval and not upheaval, but in a weird turning point with things. But it is kind of like odd to me that going into all of this, we launched the DCU with an animated program. We touted that animation was going to be a key part of everything. We name dropped a bunch of animated series. And then it just seems like the animation side of things has quietly shrunk over at the Warner Brothers DC area. You know, Batfam came out and it seems like they barely talked about it. You know, I think I saw James Gunn post about it on Threads twice. Crusader was all but buried. They've been saying season 3 of My Adventures of Superman has been coming for over a year. They announced a spin-off of it forever ago. We never heard high or low of it. So it just kind of has everybody, a lot of folks going like, hey, but then Aztec Batman comes out. Like what is going on? So like it just kind of got everybody like wondering like what's going on with DC animation? Why is this now suddenly not a thing?
I'm of two minds of it. my uncynical mind is that with the whole buyout going back and forth, that a lot of this stuff has kind of halted. That is where I kind of want to go. That's probably what happened, for
animation,
everything across the board.
animation's
Animation is, well, it's expensive and it takes a long time.
and it's
Um,
increasingly expensive.
yes. So I think that might be what it is.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like I also like you kind of mentioned, and this is kind of what we talked about on the phone the one day is like I also don't exactly see James Gunn talking about any of this stuff when it's running.
Yeah. It's
He
like
didn't.
once it's
Yeah,
out. I mean, I understand like Superman was his, Peacemaker was his. He's doing the job of talking it up because it's his. I get that. You're also a
he's in the
studio. You're the
he's in the
studio head,
freaking credits for Creature Commandos.
which
Like,
which yeah. So it gets to the point where it's like, okay, but James, you're the studio head. You've got to talk up everything
yeah,
that's under like because it does start to create kind of a weird create weird optics.
yes.
You know what I mean? It was like, okay, James, is it like if it's not yours, you just don't care? If
Well,
it's not connected to you, you just not care?
the fact that Cape Crusader didn't even get released on the DC app or the HBO Max
Yeah,
app, it was on Amazon Prime. That to me is kind of like Batfam. I think from what it looks like, Batfam is a spinoff of Merry Little Batman.
right. It was
Both
a
of those
rights thing, right?
obviously are Amazon wanted to make them.
And I'll be honest, that makes me wonder if Amazon had some kind of because and I know this from working I know this from working at DirecTV for a while. All the streaming and like premium like HBO and Cinemax and all that, like all of those go through uh distribution rights of certain properties. It's entirely possible that Amazon had some kind of thing with animated Batman
Well, not
creation.
that's not for Cape Crusader because Cape Crusader. Remember, they announced that they decided not. DC decided not to
Oh,
carry it, and
that's
they were looking
right.
for a
I
home.
forgot. Well, see now I think that was more of I think that was still part of when they were going through the whole old that I
It
think
may
was
have been.
all out from the bullshit with the old guard at DC and HBO and when they were just throwing stuff, they were throwing Warner Brothers content to anyone that was
Yeah.
willing to pick up the bill. Basically, they didn't want to, there was
Or was that James going, "No, I want to do
because
my
I
own
think
animated thing."
James Gunn, I think, even addressed that at one point, and I might be conflating things. I'm not trying to defend the guy. I fully agree that it's that his the way he treats properties that are not directly connected to him are kind of weird, but also he seems so laser focused on just the DCU side of DC that and while DC Comics in general have been crushing it lately under Jim Lee's leadership, Jim Lee's own run of Hush, the Hush sequel, can't get off the ground. It just hasn't finished yet. Scott Snyder, on the other hand, is crushing it with the Absolute series so much that they just incorporated the Absolute Batman suit into the new Lego game that's coming out in a month. And
Yeah.
they have a video of him going, "How did you do this? Oh my god."
Yeah.
Like so anyway, like I understand that the DCU is what's making them money and maybe we'll see more when the Batman Part 2 actually starts like cuz that's going to be kind of our first like big non-DCU like
Yeah.
thing, you know what I mean?
Well, it also depends on, we are in a bit of a limbo of like, I'm still not sure who's buying Warner Brothers anymore.
Right.
You
Especially
know,
now seeing that like the Supreme Court like just last night like shot down Ticketmaster and Live Nation.
yeah,
So it's very clear that like people are not playing with this antitrust stuff right now. So and there was an open letter that was signed by a lot of people in Hollywood, including I think the guys at I think the guys who were running Lanterns saying like we don't want Paramount.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird time right now. It's a really weird time right now. That's why I feel weird even talking about this, is because it's like, just because you and I both know a little more inside baseball than a lot of folks, it's like, yeah, it does look like this, but it also could be this, but it also could be this, and then you start spiraling out, and then you get cross-eyed, and yeah.
Ultimately, there was a heyday of amazing DC animation that seems to have gone away. And, look, I love My Adventures of Superman. We both loved that. I really, really liked most of Cape Crusader. Some of the subplots, I don't know why they were there.
You're weird.
But then, Bat Fam, that thing just came and went, and nobody freaking talked about it.
It was great.
It was a lot of fun.
Especially
but I think
considering how much everybody loved My Merry Little Batman.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just kind of sometimes where you just kind of go like, all right, well, somebody should be talking about it. We'll talk about it. We loved it.
Talk about it. But I also know that money talks, and we don't know what the final numbers on a lot of this stuff was. If at the end of the day, nobody watched it, well, then, you know, okay. But, say that at least.
They're not getting a mall, Shadow Lord numbers. Oh my gosh. Did you see that? Like the first.
Have you seen the show? It's incredible.
Where was this animation style 3 shows ago?
But again, that's one of those. It's like every time I watch a Star Wars animated show, that animation gets just a little bit better and a little bit better. And now I'm watching this, and I'm like, art. This is art. This is cinema. Yeah. This is cinema.
Can you retro the previous shows?
Right. Can we go back and can we? Because
Star Trek.
If you like the stories, some of that animation's hard to watch.
Yeah.
I do long for, I know we got to wrap up here soon. I do long for the days of just DC kicking the shit out of everybody in animated storytelling. People still talk about Batman Mask of the Phantasm as one of the best animated comic book movies. People still talk about things like Justice League War, and they talk about and I know you're not as big a fan of it, but like the Dark Knight Returns movies and Under the Red Hood. Oh God, they're all Batman ones. Just which we've talked about so many times. But I do, I know you liked, I really liked Creature Commandos season 1, and I think there's a lot to do in the DCU that I think but who's to say?
I mean, the biggest concern for me is that there has not been, in my opinion, a good direct-to-DVD DC animated project in years.
No. And I'll be honest, I think if I'm being honest with myself, as much as fans enjoyed Creature Commandos, I don't think it ultimately did the numbers they were hoping it would to kickstart DC animation.
Yeah.
I'm pulling this out of my ass. And ultimately, if I'm being honest with myself, Creature Commandos was a wild swing for your first DCU project.
And they crapped the bed on that last episode.
That last episode was not good. That last episode was not good. That last episode was just a big setup for season 2. Why did they kill? It's just, I don't know what. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments.
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe, because we've put a lot of stuff out there in the ether, and we want to know what you guys think. So let us know down there. Make sure you follow us on all the social medias. We never let the people know we were done talking about Clayface. Hopefully you guys tuned back in at some point when I turned the logo away.
Do it in post.
It's fine. Let us know what you guys think. Anyway, follow me on social media at Mr. Mike Shea.
Follow me across all social media at the Hustle Man.
We'll see you guys again next time. There is something DC to talk about.
Bye-bye.